Welcome to today's webinar, Switchvox Undercover, Top 10 Ways Your Phone System Can Be Used as a Marketing Machine. My name is Brian Ferguson, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Switchvox here at Digium, and I'll be presenting today's webinar. We have a lot to go through today. We're going to take a little close look at inbound marketing and kind of how inbound marketing works and how you can use it to help your company kind of at a really high level. Just because it's a big trend in marketing today, and it can really help with a lot of companies out there and the products and services that you sell. So there's be some good information there, and then we'll kind of dive into kind of how your phone system can impact your marketing and how specifically Switchvox can help really drive inbound marketing programs and some outbound marketing programs, and the tools that are in there to help with that. And we're launching a series called Switchvox Undercover, which is going to show kind of some things that kind of are under the radar for phone systems that you wouldn't think that phone systems manage. You might think that a separate piece of software does that, or some other program or hardware does some sort of function in the background that actually you can use your phone system for to save you money in the long run. So this is the first in that series, Top 10 Ways Your Phone System Can Be Used as a Marketing Machine. All right, so before we jump in, let's do some housekeeping. First off, a tech check. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me and they can see my screen. So if you can see my screen that says housekeeping and you can hear my voice, if you could press the little raise hand button on your GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar application, just so I know that technically we're off on the right foot and I'm not just talking to myself. All right, so good. Looks like we have the vast majority of people are good to go. All right, so I will lower everybody's hand. I appreciate everybody's feedback there. Everybody is muted on today's webinar, so if you happen to have questions or come up with questions as we move along, there's a questions box within the GoToWebinar control panel that you have. By all means, put as many questions as you can think of in there, whether they're just directly about marketing, but especially if they're about Switchvox or Switchvox Cloud or any specific product questions that we have. We'll get through the majority of the presentation in 30 to 45 minutes, and then I'll use the remainder of time to answer as many questions as people have. I have a live Switchvox actually running behind the presentation, so if anybody has any questions about Switchvox that they'd like me to show them, show it on a live system, I'd be happy to do that as well. So I'd be happy to kind of show you things in action as well as just talk about it within the presentation. All right, so use the question box. The Q&A session will follow the presentation, and then we'll have a couple of poll questions along the way just to get some interaction. All right, so today's agenda, we'll talk about marketing trend, actually specifically one trend, inbound marketing. What is it, and what do I need to do with it? How does it work? What are some things that need to happen? What are the pieces of it so that I can maybe implement that for my company? And really, there's at the very beginning, you'll see a primary reason why that inbound marketing has become such a big focus and been very, very successful for a lot of companies. Then we'll talk about the evolution of the phone system and kind of from connecting the world to more than just phone calls. And then we'll dive into the top 10 ways of Switchvox Undercover, top 10 ways Switchvox can be used as a marketing machine. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Again, if you have questions, please put them in the questions box and we'll answer as many of those as we can at the end. All right, so what kind of drove inbound marketing is really the downfall or the decline of the success of cold calling. Customers and just people in general are becoming much more intelligent shoppers, and they're becoming much more intelligent receptors of information. So cold calling is there's tons and tons of studies out there that have proven that cold calling is just not near as successful as it has been in the past. Not only is it not successful on the customer side, but it's not a really popular thing to do from your employee side as far as employee retention and employee rapport and happiness at work. So just in general, it's not as near as successful as it has been. Now, granted, there are people out there that are still extremely successful with cold calling. There are individuals that just, that's what they do well, and they're really great at it, but that's not necessarily the majority any longer. So let's kind of dive into that just a little bit further. So why is cold calling ineffective? Keller Research Center out of Baylor University did research on cold calling, and they did over 6,000 calls. They used very seasoned cold callers, and 72% of all those calls, of 6,000 calls, over 6,000 calls, were ended swiftly with absolutely no further contact. 28% were labeled as useful, but they didn't, as if, and what useful meant for them is that they just didn't hang up immediately. Follow-ups on this were 28% who were useful. Only 19% appointments were made in general, from the 6,264 calls that were made, which became 4 sales. So out of almost 6,300 calls, there were 4 sales, which is 0.6% conversion, which in the marketing world is not a good conversion rate. So, and then the time spent and costs accounted for it equated to a full working day to get 1 appointment. And these were with seasoned cold callers. So as you can see, people are getting more educated. They're getting more immune to cold callers. They're kind of understanding that where they're coming from and what they're about, and they're hanging up. So there's a much more effective way to market now. And the last thing on cold calling is, why is cold calling ineffective? 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% of sales are made in second, so on and so forth. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So if you can imagine, if you're calling people that many times, the amount of time and money that wastes is pretty significant. All right. Okay, so the old marketing playbook is broken. Skip TV ads, unsubscribe. 86% skip TV ads altogether with DVR, and so if you're in a business to where TV ads are useful, DVRs or digital video recorders and TiVo have really cut into that. 91% of people unsubscribe from email automatically. 44% of direct mail is never opened, and 200 million people are on the do not call list today. All right, so let's talk about inbound marketing and why it's great. So there's kind of 4 big picture steps to inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is a pretty complex thing, but we can kind of nail it down to 4 kind of key factors of it. So you have, number 1 is attracting strangers. So figuring out a way to draw people who are not your customers, or are not interested, or are interested in your product type in general, and attracting those strangers to your website, to your to something of yours. The second thing is turning those strangers into visitors and get their contact information and know who they are. The third is delivering relevant and useful content to them at the right place at the right time, and then converting those visitors into customers. So let's talk about these individually. So attracting strangers, making sure that you have, if you get a website, if you don't have a website, you need a website, get Google Analytics, do some keywords, drive people to your site, get your company out there and get it known, attracting strangers. Secondly, turning those strangers into visitors, creating things on your website that are sticky, that people actually will give your information for. Give information for to receive. And that kind of lends itself to the next step, which is the most important part of inbound marketing and marketing today in general, which is content is king. People, the way people respond to marketing today is by receiving something that's useful to them. They understand that they have a problem, and you are providing something to them that is useful to help them solve it. So delivering relevant and useful content at the right place at the right time. And then the last portion is just converting those visitors into customers, which is what we'll talk about a lot when we talk about where your phone system comes into play. But kind of back on this content is king. So there are lots and lots of different content types that you could deliver. So you have guides, white papers, blog posts, videos, case studies, research reports, webinars, tons and tons of different things that you can create, because you, as the owner of your company, or the representative from your company, marketing person from your company, you are the expert in your field. And so people, just because of your title and what you do, trust you about your specific topic. So figure out a way to get your opinions and your advice out there to the public. So create a guide for whatever your company is. If you're a pizza shop, what about your pizza that's better than everybody else? What do you guys do that's better? If white papers, blog posts, start a blog that's attached to your website. Give your personal opinion. Make it a little more informal. Draw more people to your site. Get your name more out there within Google and Google Analytics to draw more people to your site. People love video today. Generate fun videos or just useful, informative videos. People love videos, so if you can do that, that's going to be great. Case studies, research reports, so on and so forth. The key here is you guys are the experts of your company in your field. Show that. Create this content and then put it in places on your site or in email campaigns, blast campaigns to your lists, so where people see that, they see it's something that they actually use, they'll appreciate the advice or tips that you're giving them, and then the key thing is that when you give them this information, they give you information back, like their email address and their phone number, and then when you contact them, it's no longer a cold call at that point. So they know who you are, they know what you're about, they know what what you suggest, they actually appreciated what you did, and it's no longer a cold call, and it's much, much more successful. All right, so delivery, there's lots of different ways to deliver these. You have email campaigns, social media. Social media is big right now. Lots of people are kind of from the old school that they say, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, I don't want it. That's not what my customers buy. That's not, we're not doing it. I warn you against that stance, because here's some kind of statistics. So Facebook celebrated its 10-year anniversary pretty recently, right? So if I'm a member of Facebook and I was 18 years old when I started my Facebook account, and I started at the beginning when I was a kid and I didn't have any money and I wasn't going to buy anything anyways. Now I'm 28. Now I have a job. Now I have a degree. Now I'm a member of a company where I probably have decision-making capabilities, and now I'm helping make decisions on what people buy and what they don't. I still have Facebook. I'm part of the social media generation. These people, those are who your customers are going to be. LinkedIn and Twitter are big ones in the business world. Twitter is a great way, a really simple way to send a small number of characters and deliver your content to a very wide group of people. And LinkedIn is even better because it can be specific to your profession. You'll have people that you connect with that are professional people that are out looking, and it can really be good. So strongly recommend get involved in social media. Get yourself a Facebook account, get your company Twitter account, get your company LinkedIn account, get out there and get your name out in social media, because the people and customers who are now part of the social media generation are the people who are making buying decisions. And that's going to be even more and more as time goes on. Display advertising, targeted advertising. When you go around the internet and you're shopping for things, it's funny how the next place you go, that company that you just looked at is following you now. It happens a lot in our industry, for sure, but making sure that they know that you're still around. In fact, I registered or looked at one of those Tough Mudder races one time because I was interested in doing that for a very short time. But after that, on my Facebook, I got a Tough Mudder ad pretty much every single time that I went on Facebook. So really, it was kind of reminded me that, hey, I really wanted to do that, and to help me out, and maybe it's at some point that I'll sign up. But that's just an example. Google AdWords, etc. Lots of different up-to-date current ways to get your company out there from a marketing perspective. All right. Next, just want to show you some kind of a last slide that kind of gives you some dollar figures about where advertising and marketing money is being spent. So you can see a pretty great change down here in the rise of social media spending. Email marketing, mobile marketing is going way up. Search marketing is pretty flat. Display art marketing is going up as well. But if you look at the growth rates, 26% growth rate for social media between 2011 and 2016, 38 between mobile marketing. So making sure that your websites are mobile ready and mobile responsive is big. We're going to talk about here in just a minute about how you can help Google and provide your phone number and get it to where they can click to call from Google, and then you can then do some really cool things once that number gets into Switchvox so you can track it. So another way that you can kind of get mobility involved on the customer side, and then from your own side, get your website mobile ready, because people are consuming websites on their mobile phone more than they ever have, and it's soon going to supersede what they actually do on a computer. All right, so that's just a little overview on some trends in marketing with inbound marketing. It's really kind of taken over from a marketing perspective over outbound calling, over a lot of cold calling, that kind of thing. It's really proven to be significantly more successful. So I encourage you to go out and learn some more about that. All right, so let's talk about phone systems and kind of how they've changed and how phone systems work into all of this. So first of all, let's talk about the evolution of the phone system, kind of how it's changed. So in the past, we had the original phone system 150 years ago, or phone, not even really a phone system, was, pretty rudimentary. I pick it up, I connect to somebody, they connect me to the person I need to go to, and I'm connected. And then, it's been a very slow 100+ years of growth in the telecommunications industry. When you talk about it at a real high level, for forever it was just, I still connect to this guy. That's what I did as far as phone systems go. So until pretty recently, the growth and the change in technology within phone systems has really grown over the last 10-15 years. With the entrance of unified communications, mobility has really become a big deal. And what has also happened is that phone systems can do more things for you besides just talk to somebody else. You know, you can now instant message with them or chat, or you can see their presence. I can record calls. I can do lots of really cool things with phone systems that I was never able to do before. And I can do it at a really inexpensive way, so I don't have to have 7 pieces of software that do all this. I can have it all done within my phone system. So we're going to talk about one of those things today, and that's marketing. So before we dive into the top 10 reasons, let me kind of backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit about Switchvox, so we're all on the same page as far as what Switchvox is. So Digium as a company, we have 2 major portions of our company. We have Asterisk. Digium down here, you can see is our logo says we are the Asterisk company. And you may have heard of Asterisk. Asterisk today is the world's most successful open source communications platform. So people can go out and download Asterisk and they can build all kinds of really cool things. Not PBXs are just one of the things, or phone systems, but there's lots of cool things that people can build with Asterisk as far as communications go. So part of our company is we are the stewards, the founders, creators, and maintainers of the Asterisk project. The creator of Asterisk, Mark Spencer, is our current CTO and chairman of the board. He is actively involved in Digium today and the direction of Asterisk. Now, so that's the open source side, or what we call custom communications. Then we have the business communications, which is Switchvox. And Switchvox is a turnkey phone system that's based upon Asterisk. So Asterisk is the underlying engine that makes it go. But it is really simple to use, very feature-rich phone system that majority of companies go to prefer over something like building something with Asterisk. And a good way to compare and to simplify the difference between Asterisk and Switchvox is to think of a car. So if you think of a car bare bones, you think of just the engine of a car, that is what Asterisk is. So it's the engine of the car, whereas Switchvox is the rest of the car. It's the frame that makes it safe. It's all the cool gadgets inside of it that make it fun to drive and easy to use, simple connectivity. That is the rest of the car, which is what Switchvox is. It's the really cool features that make phone systems fun to use, easy to use, productive for your people, and makes it inexpensive as well to create and easy to maintain as well. So I like to think of there being kind of 5 or 6 things that really separate Switchvox from a lot of the competition that's out there. And let's talk about those quickly before we jump into the top 10 things. The first one is all features are included. We're pretty unique in the phone system industry in having an all features included phone pricing model. If you have any experience buying a phone system recently, it can be a pretty complex situation. You'll have a quote that's sometimes 7-8 pages long of features and servers and different things for different pieces of equipment and different licenses for all different kinds of things. Switchvox is very simple. You have a user that you have a subscription for a user, they get access to everything, and it's all in one appliance. Or it's all in the cloud. That includes everything: mobility. They get a mobile application for an iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. They get access to chat, video calling, faxing, Microsoft integration for Outlook integration to click to dial, presence, call recording. Everything is built into Switchvox. Everybody gets access to it. Now, for your IT people, before you freak out, it is permissions based, so not everybody gets access to everything, but you have control over that process. So you just turn the feature on and off, and they can have it. But it's not a case to where, say I have an employee that gets promoted and they get some new responsibilities and I need to give them access to be able to record calls. Well, in Switchvox, you just turn it on. On a lot of other phone systems, you have to go out and get a PO cut, you have to get that license added, you have to wait for that to happen, pay more money. That's not the case with Switchvox. It's really simple. So all features are included as a big differentiator. Next, we have interoperability. So we work with all kinds of connectivity, and that works on both sides of the phone system. So what I mean by that is, one side you have the connectivity to the phone company, and people do that lots of different ways, with T1 connections, PRI connections, analog connections, SIP trunking. If you're international, you might have BRI or E1. We work with all of that on the phone system side. we are actually natively SIP, so you don't have to purchase any gateways or interface cards in order to make SIP trunking work, which is great because one of the reasons that you purchase SIP or use SIP trunking is to save money. So you'd hate to have to then spend more money on hardware just to get it to work. So it actually works that way out of the box. And then on the phone side, the actually device side or handsets, we work with any phone that's out there that uses the industry standard called SIP. So if it uses a SIP IP phone, we're going to work with that phone. We do sell or offer Digium phones now that, as far as features, have significantly more features than any third-party phone would have. But if you want to do a slow rollout, maybe you want to save some of your phones and replace them slowly instead of all at once with a big forklift upgrade, you can definitely do that. Easy to use. I think you would see when you go through Switchvox, everything is very simple. It's all drop-down menus and quick links. Installation is very simple. We have Switchvox Cloud, which is installation is almost nothing. Makes it really, really easy. Then we have Extend Your System, or basically the integration and customization, available with lots of third-party apps, Salesforce.com, Sugar CRM, Google Maps. Switchvox Notifier is the Outlook integration. We have Fire Dialer, where you can click to dial from Firefox. You can click to dial from Google Chrome with our Chrome dialer. So lots of really cool add-ons. And then we have an open API system that allows you to do lots of development on your own. So if your company, if what you want to integrate is not on that list, it can definitely be possible. So if you're comfortable with using APIs and making those connections, you can do it all on your own. We provide a really great toolkit to help you out. If not, we have a really great partner channel out there where we can connect you to the right people. And then lastly, we have Switchvox Anywhere. So Switchvox is a really unique offering when we talk about cloud. So Switchvox Cloud is actually the exact same software as what's available on premises. So you have all of the features are available. It's exactly the same. That gives you some big advantages. Number one, you have the ability to have hybrid connectivity. So if I have like a large corporate, maybe I have like a franchise model where I have a large corporate office, but then I have smaller offices or distributed people like telecommuters everywhere. I can have a premises system for my corporate office because that makes more sense financially, and I have IT people there. And then I can have cloud for the rest of them and connect them together, and they look as one big system, and everybody's happy. So you can take advantage of both cloud and premises-based, the advantages of both, and connect them all together. Then you can move from one to the other seamlessly. So say you start with cloud, you're a small company, I have 10 people, cloud makes more sense. I'm going to sign up for Switchvox Cloud. Business does really well, I'm growing, I go to 100 people, now cloud becomes a little not as cost effective, so I want to switch to on-premise. Just buy an appliance, we take your last backup, put it on the new appliance, you're back up and running in minutes. You don't have to reconfigure anything, and you don't lose a beat, and now you're on-premises based. So you can seamlessly move from one to the other, which is really, really unique. All right, so that's just a background to Switchvox, so we kind of are all on the same page there. So let's talk about the top 10 ways Switchvox can be used as a marketing machine. So number one, these are really in no particular order, other than the beginning of a marketing process through the end. So number one is dedicate phone numbers or DIDs to marketing campaigns. So we could do this a couple ways. If you use Switchvox on-premise, you can actually go to your phone company and purchase as many DIDs as you want. They'll offer them to you, and they're very reasonably priced typically. But you can have more than one phone number. So you can have your main phone number as if you always have, or every extension can have their own phone number. Like here at Digium, my phone number is 256-428-6138, and my extension is 6138. That's how we set up and purchase those phone numbers. So that's with premises based. Now Switchvox Cloud, we are your provider, so we'll provide those numbers for you. If you want to move your numbers over from one provider to Switchvox Cloud, we can port those numbers for you, or we can provide you with new numbers. And they're very inexpensive, and you can have as many as you want. So you can have a dedicated phone number for each of your marketing campaigns. So the way this works is if you want to send out an email that has a specific number in it, you don't have to give out your main company number. You give out a specific number that's attached to that campaign. And then you can do all kinds of things, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. So you can really be specific and get a really great way to track each marketing campaign. And that can work in emails if you want to do TV advertising, you've got a certain number, you want to do radio ads or whatever it is that you want to advertise in some sort of publication. You can put out different phone numbers for each of those and track them independently. This is kind of how it works in Switchvox. So this is a single DID. We can actually do these in groups, but this is just for a single. So I just made a simple one that says April promo ad. So I'm running a promotion for an April ad. I created this phone number for it. This is the number I gave to that agency that I'm using. The number will track results for the April promo and ad running promo ad running all month. Here's the number. I want voice calls, and then here's where it gets routed to. So it goes to the Switchvox sales group or queue on Switchvox. So that's the one that handles it. So easy. So I put out that number. I know who it goes to. Here's the phone number that we use, and then I can go back and look at and name it and make it make sense as well. All right. So let's do number 2. So number 2 is customize initial messaging based on campaigns. All right, so now that I've set up my own DIDs, I can use customized messaging for each of them. So I can route, when a call comes in from that specific number, let's say it's the April promo campaign for Switchvox, then I can have messaging that says spring is here, April is upon us, get ready for tax season, whatever I want to do. I can have completely different, independent messaging for that specific phone number. So it allows you to do lots of creative messaging, creative advertising, kind of think outside the box there, and really be individualized with my customized messages or music if I want to. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3 is unique call routing for each campaign. All right, so as you saw back in the DID screen, I can tell Switchvox and point it to wherever I want it to go. So I can say I want it to go to this group or this queue, or what I can also do is point it to this IVR. So if you don't know what an IVR is, it's called Interactive Voice Response System. Some people call it an auto attendant. You press 1 for this, press 2 for sales, press 3 for support. That's an auto attendant, and that's part of an IVR, but ours is more robust than that. So with Switchvox IVR, you can create payment over the phone. You can create to where when a caller calls into your company, you can have them put in an account number, and it spits back their account balance to you. That kind of thing to interact with third-party devices that you have. So, or third-party applications that you use. So ours can be much more detailed and much more robust than that. But you can have a different IVR and different messaging and different options for each phone number. So again, our April promo, I can run it through my interactive voice response, say, hey, it's spring, blah, 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 tax season, press 1 for a tax accountant, press 2 for a manager, press 3 for this. Then next month when I run May, press 1 for sales, press 2 for the, completely different tracking. You can actually have them run simultaneously. So maybe I have 2 different products or 2 different promotions that I'm running. You can have different IVRs and different messaging for each one, but they're happening at the same time. So lots and lots of really cool things you can do with IVRs. We'll talk a couple more things you can do with IVRs here in a minute. Complete control over queue setup to ensure smooth customer experience. So this is great for anybody on the call that may be interested in like call center functionality, contact center, whether it's small or large. You have complete control over your ACD groups or queues. And a queue, for those of you who are not familiar with that kind of terminology, a queue is basically instead of a call getting routed to myself, to Brian, the call will get routed to a group of people, to a sales group or a support group or a accounting group or whatever group that you want to have. You can have as many as you want. You can have them laid out however you'd like. And so you have lots of control for those queues as well. So you can decide who's in the queues. You can decide what way they get the phone rings for them. It can ring all of them at the same time. It can do like a round robin. You can have dedicated people for different promotions for each phone number. So that the April promo ad is going to be handled by this group of people. The April promo ad for this particular product gets handled by this different group of people because they're more efficient or more they're more up to date on that particular product line. So I want this group of people to handle that. You can do it all by phone number that comes in. Different people answering it, and it can really help out. So you can really be purposeful about who's going to answer your calls, how they're going to handle them, and they'll kind of know what's coming. The next thing is I can tag each incoming call with the campaign name for a unique customer experience. So what this does is we have the ability to alter the caller ID. So this is the setup in the Switchvox IVR because it'll alter the caller ID. So when a call comes into your company, one of the first things that Switchvox will do is look at the caller ID and then check this rule to see if it needs to do anything with it. So we have 3 different options. We can prepend or put something before the caller ID. We can replace or completely replace the caller ID, or we can append it or put something after the caller ID. So, and you can put it after the caller ID number or the caller ID name, and then you can come down here and put whatever you want. So what this is going to provide for your users or for the people in your groups that are going to be answering the calls is they're going to be able to see whatever you want them to see on their caller ID display. So it'll say, April promo caller, here's their name and their caller ID number. And it can say whatever you want. So if I'm a user that's answering calls, I can look at my phone and say, oh, this is an April promo call. I know how to handle that. I have a script for that particular type. Or I know exactly how I'm going to answer it. Or I can prepare myself with certain notes because I know what kind of call that's going to be. So that really helps out an individual. One of the other things you can do is within our queue setup, you can have it audibly play that message in their ear. So instead of wanting it visually, or you can do both at the same time, you can have it say, you are now answering a call from the April promo caller queue, so that audibly in my ear before the call gets connected, I know where that call is coming from, as well as visually seeing it on my phone. Next, number 6, easily integrate with CRM systems. So a common thing, and a lot of times a vital thing to have if marketing is really important to your company and you want to be successful at it, is to have a CRM system, whether it's Salesforce or Sugar or Act or there's Microsoft Dynamics. There's a million of them out there. Lots of people build their own, which is great, or even if it's just a simple database. Being able to integrate with those CRM systems is huge. We have built-in integration with Salesforce.com. We have built-in integration with Sugar CRM, and then we have lots of partners who have built some things for others. So we have those kind of keys out there, and then we provide that toolkit if you want to build it yourself. So what this provides is when a call comes in, not only will I see visually that the phone number says from the April promo, not only will I be able to hear in my ear this call is coming from the April promo. Also, I'll have a little pop up on my switchboard, which I'll show you in a few minutes, that let's say, for example, I use Salesforce. The caller ID goes to Salesforce. Salesforce spits back any account information that's related to that caller ID number and posts it in a screen for me, so I know who's calling me, any notes that were associated with that person, when's the last time they called. Everything will be right there on the screen for me, and then I can interact back and forth with Salesforce within that panel. So lots of really great control. All that information is given to me before the call would ever get answered. So now I'm armed to answer that call significantly better than I was if I don't have any of this set up. Otherwise, I can save me a lot of time, can save the customer a lot of frustration of having to repeat themselves, makes the entire situation better for everybody involved. All right, so that's number 6. Number 7 is robust reporting. So one of the great things, the important things about marketing campaigns is that you want to be able to measure them. You want to be able to develop or find out whatever the ROI, or return on investment, is of that particular marketing campaign. And that's just oftentimes a challenge to do if you don't have a system, a piece of software that's helping you do it, or a phone system that can provide that level of detail for you. So Switchvox has detailed reporting in it. We can create actionable items to service your callers based on data received from built-in Switchvox reports and logs. We can create charts and graphs. We can create just the raw data of that report. We can output that data to Excel or XML if you want to make your own custom reports. We can generate reports by DID number. So all you have to do is put in that same incoming DID that we used for the April promo, and now you can run total number of calls, incoming calls, outgoing calls, total talk time, call duration, average, so on and so forth. You can run these really detailed reports based on that phone number. So now you can see, is it actually getting any traction? Is the money that I spent on this particular advertisement that I put out there with this number, is it actually giving me any traffic back? And it's measurable, and I can see it, and I can see it in lots of different ways. So you can generate those reports, as well as many other reports that are available within Switchvox. You can run it by hour of day or day of week. You can make sure you have the right staffing for that particular promotion by running by hour of day, so you can kind of see when your traffic happens and when it hits. If you run different advertisements, maybe you run radio ads or TV ads at specific times, you know when they run, and you want to track to make sure that they're getting traffic right after they've been run. You can see you can run reports on that as well. So lots of really great detail, all built-in reports on Switchvox. And then if you don't have exactly the report that you want, you can output the data to Excel or XML and make your own custom reports as well. All right, number 8 is no-touch reporting. So one of the challenges with reporting is that oftentimes it becomes a bigger chore to actually run the reports than it does to actually view the reports or get the data from the reports. So Switchvox actually has scheduled call reports in it. So you can generate, say, here's an example. So created a scheduled report for the April promo report. I wanted a chart. This is the general settings. Then schedule. I wanted it to start April 1st, 2014 and end May 2nd, 2014. I want it run every day, Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. And I want an email sent to this email, bferguson@digium.com. And I hit save. The last section is just create that, give the parameters of the report that I want. Now Switchvox regenerates a report and emails it to me. So now all I have to do is check my email Monday through Friday. When I come into work, it's right there. I can check the report and move on. I don't have to go in and create those reports every day or ask somebody else to do them. My IT guy, my business intelligence guy, I don't have to worry about any of that. Everything is already sent to me. And then kind of the last thing on reporting is we have instant visibility. So one of the great things about Switchvox in general is we have the ability to have lots of visibility into the phone system. Our Switchvox provides Switchboard, which gives you kind of bird's eye view into your phone system where you can see presence information, you can see who's on the phone, how long they've been on the phone, you can see lots of information. You can instant message and chat with people, lots of really cool things. One of the panels on the Switchboard that we can provide is a real-time queue status and report. So you can get an overview for all the calls that have come into my April promo queue. I can get total number of calls, abandoned calls, or calls that didn't get answered for whatever reason. Maybe nobody picked it up in time. I can do redirected calls or calls that go somewhere else. I can do completed, average talk time, average wait times. I can see active callers that are waiting. I can see how many calls people are on the phone. If I hover over each individual to give me their individual statistics for that day, how many calls they've taken, how much time they've spent on the phone. So I can get really great real-time information. And kind of to backtrack a little bit, I said earlier if we have an abandoned call where if it just didn't get answered quick enough, with Switchvox queues, you can set them up to where that should never happen. So that if, say, your threshold is 60 seconds, you can have a caller ring for 60 seconds. If they don't pick up after 60 seconds, you can then determine where that call goes from that point. You can have it go to a voicemail box. You can have it go maybe to the manager of that group. You can have it go to a separate queue or a separate group of people to then answer it. You have complete control over how calls get routed through your system and who they go to. So you should never have abandoned calls at all unless the customer just hung up after a very short amount of time. And then lastly is number 10, easy to use monitoring tools to ensure quality interactions. So one of the cool things about Switchvox is that you have some monitoring tools available to you so that now you've done all this work, you've done all the inbound marketing, you've created great content, everything's great, you're getting an inflow of people into your company, into your website, they're generating active visitors, you're getting their information, they're actually actively calling your organization. Now, the worst thing that can happen after all that work and all that time spent is to have a bad customer interaction with one of your employees. So Switchvox provides lots of live training tools to help. So this is just an example. This is actually a portion of our phone book. Actually, let me just move to this one. So this is a portion of the Switchboard phone book that every user on the system can have access to. So like Vanessa, for example, I can see that Vanessa's on the phone with this little green bar. I can see who she's talking to, the caller ID information. This little red button is record, so I can actually record her call, and we can go back and listen to it together for training purposes. I can monitor that call or listen in on the call. I can whisper, which means I can listen in on the call. I can talk to my employee without the customer hearing. Or I can barge or become part of that call. And I think, yeah, this middle one here is whisper, and then this is barge. And barge, I can just become part of that call. So I have lots of ways to be involved in active calls, make sure that my people are saying and doing what they're supposed to, and it can really be helpful for a sales organization as well. For recording, you can record on the fly from here. You can record from your phone. You can record from your mobile phone. You can record. You can schedule recordings to happen. So you can say, I want to record every call that comes into my call center. I want to record every call that comes into the April promo queue to make sure that everything's being handled. Switchvox will record all those calls, send you emails, store them for you so you can go back and listen to them whenever you need to. So lots of flexibility there as well. All right, so that wraps up Switchvox Undercover, the top 10 ways that Switchvox can be used for your inbound marketing campaigns. Switchvox can be used with outbound as well. So if you have found success with outbound marketing programs, that's great. We can connect with third-party auto dialers and be involved in that process as well. So if that works for you, that's great. And we can connect that way as well. We actually did a separate webinar all about branding end of last year that's available on our website. So if you want to know how Switchvox can help with brand recognition and branding for your site, we did a great webinar about that. I think it was in November of last year. It's on our events page in Switchvox or on digium.com that you can check out as well. So if marketing is your thing, we have some tools for you. All right, so I've launched a live Switchvox now. This is actually our switchboard that I was telling you about, where you can get kind of a bird's eye view into what's going on in the phone system. This is an active system, so I'll be happy to show you around I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions now. One last thing I'm going to do is launch a poll question here. So before we dive into these questions, so the poll question asks, is there anything that we can do to help from here? We could provide a personal demo of Switchvox. We'd be happy to kind of sit down one-on-one with you, either in person with a local partner or through like a GoToMeeting and do a personalized demo with you. That really helps because we can get and find out a lot more specifics about your company and talk about how you're going to use it and give you a really great interaction that way. So we'd love to do that. If you may want to connect with a local partner, if we can connect you with somebody locally to talk about system configuration and that kind of thing, we'll be happy to do that. Or you maybe like to talk further about becoming a Digium partner. We have a great 5-star partner program. We have lots of reward for our partner program, and we'd love to have you on as a partner. So we'd love to talk to you about that as well. So if you can take just a minute or so and answer that poll question for me, personal Switchvox demo, help connect, talk further about becoming a Digium partner, or you're just researching and you don't need any help at this point. So I'm going to give everybody just a minute to do that, and while you're doing that, I'm going to kind of look through these questions and get prepared to answer some of these. And this is also a great time. I'm going to close this poll out in about 20 seconds to ask any questions that you might have about the inbound marketing stuff that we went over, or Switchvox in general. I'd be happy to show you anything within Switchvox that we have and show you it live, talk about any portion of Switchvox that you have questions about. All right, I'll hold off for another 10 seconds or so on this poll question, so I'd appreciate your feedback there. All right, looks like we have everybody we're going to have, so I'll go ahead and close out the poll question now. So I appreciate the feedback that we got there. All right, so put your as many questions that you have, and I will answer them now. So the first question that we have is recommended computer platform. All right, so Switchvox comes kind of in two different ways today. We have Switchvox on-premises, which we have appliances that we provide for you, so you don't have to worry about the actual server. We'll provide the appliance. And then we have Switchvox Cloud, where you don't have to worry about any appliance. It works on all the major computers that are operating systems that are out there, Mac, Windows. It works on all the major browsers, Google Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, so you don't have to worry about any of the compatibility issues. We do sell Switchvox, just the software by itself. So if you're the way you really want to do it is put it on your own hardware, that is possible. I will tell you that we do not support your hardware. So it can create a situation down the road where something were to come up and we try and exhaust everything we can to support the software, we'd have to say, I'm sorry, it just seems to be your hardware, and that's never easy for anybody. We want to be able to support you all the way through, so we strongly recommend going with the Digium hardware, and really the price difference is not significant at all. But if that's the way you choose, we can definitely provide just the software for you as well. All right, what speed of CPU would I need? Switchvox runs on pretty minimal CPU speed. We don't support that method of deployment, so we really don't have any set guidelines today. If you have a current computer today that was purchased recently, Switchvox will run fine on it. Voice recognition response is the next. Do we have voice recognition in Switchvox? We don't have it natively in Switchvox, but we can work with third-party voice recognition apps. So if that's important to you for voice recognition, then we can make that work with some third-party applications. Are you aware of any integrations with EFI software, MIS, or CRM programs? I am not. EFI. I will dig into that for you, the person who asked that question, and email you anything that I can find on it for sure. I not off the top of my head, but I'm certainly, I don't know all of the integrations that we have out there. So I'll dig around for you and find out for the person who asked that, and send you an email with the response. Compatible with Mac computers, I think we covered that. Yes, we are. Calls from companies usually do not present caller ID by name. How do you handle? So if the call does not, if it doesn't present caller ID by name and it still does it by number, we can still handle it. If it doesn't provide anything, we can still alter it and still know that it's coming. If it says there's no caller ID or block number, we can still alter that, so we can put the identifier still on there. What you won't have is the customer information. It wouldn't populate anything from Google Maps or from your CRM, because it does require the actual caller ID number. It doesn't care about the name, it just uses the phone number. So that's how that works. Next question is, what is the CRM Switchvox interface in? What will the call agent see on an incoming call? All right, so we can actually show you that. So the first one is, what is the CRM Switchvox interface? So let me actually launch this so I can show it to you. At the top under options here on the switchboard, every user has access to different panels, and you guys as the administrators will be able to control over what access they get. So I'll go ahead and add the Salesforce app and just kind of show you what this looks like. So let me log in here. Hope I remember my login. All right, so let's just put it over the profile. All right, so that's logged in. Let me go ahead and make an inbound call here. And you'll see some things happen. So the first thing you'll see over here in the top left-hand corner, you'll see a current call come in. You will see the Google Maps over on the right will populate. And then at the bottom, it takes a little bit for the first time for the Salesforce to come up, but after the first time, it's very, very quick. So I'm going to mute that. All right. So here's the inbound call that comes in. I can see here's where they are, here's where they came from. Here's Salesforce, so I can see what their name is, what their company they came from. Any notes that were associated with that person would also populate here. I can then interact with them, edit lead. I can log the call, do some things back and forth with Salesforce from the app. So this is what's native within Salesforce, or with the integration. If you need more than that, like I said, we have a very open API system that allows you to develop whatever you'd like. I can see the caller ID number that comes in. I can put my call on hold. I can record my own call from here. So you have lots of flexibility and control over that incoming call that comes in. Right. And then here is the queue panel. Go ahead and add that back in here. We're kind of stacking on top of each other. Let's move down here. So here's the queue panel for our general queue here at Digium. So 13 calls, 6-minute talk time, 9-second wait time is our wait time for today. So it's pretty good. And then I can click on the members and then see everybody that's in the queue. I can hover over their name and get their real-time statistics. So lots of great information is available. Switchvox, next question is Switchvox available as a virtual appliance to be run in-house or on our private cloud? We're running OpenStack with KVM hypervisor. So virtualization is kind of the same stance as we're using your own appliance. We have lots of people who do it, and it's worked successfully. In fact, I did a Google Hangout with Casper College, a large university here in Wyoming, or in Wyoming in the U.S., and they have over 1,000 people on Switchvox on a virtualized machine. Now, with that being said, it's one of those things where we will do the best we can to support it, but since we don't have control over the appliance or what it's on, it can create an additional element of complexity. So just know that that's the case. It's not something that's officially supported by Digium, but we'll do the best we can to support the software for you. Next question is, QMetrics.com has been recommended as a full function reporting tool for Switchvox. Would this be required given all that Switchvox has to offer? So as far as that goes, I recommend you just trying it. Do a trial. We have lots of different ways on our website to actually try Switchvox. You can try Switchvox Cloud completely free for 30 days. We actually send you 5 Digium phones and 5 seats. There's a Switchvox server, demo server out there that you can get access to. Try it out. Check out the queue reporting tools and see if it works for you. If not, if you need something that's more advanced, you could use somebody like them. As far as call center functionality, Switchvox does a good job for small call centers and contact centers and people that need the basics for call centers and maybe a little bit of an advanced call center. But for people who need super advanced functionality with call centers, that's just not what Switchvox really does today. But we can use those third parties like you've said. So I just recommend you try it, see if it has enough for what you're wanting to do. If not, great. If it does, great. If not, we can integrate with some other things. All right, seems to be the last question so far. I'll give you some more time. I wanted to also show you Switchvox Mobile. So we have a mobility app available for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry that actually allows you to, I can make a call from my mobile app that's actually made through Switchvox. So the people that I call will see my work caller ID as opposed to my cell phone caller ID. It's a really great application. We have what's called converged phones also from a mobility perspective, whereas I can bounce calls from one of my devices to the other. So say I make arrangements today to leave at 4 o'clock, and I've got an appointment I need to get to. I need to leave at 4. Well, 3:55 rolls around, the phone rings, and now I'm stuck. And in the past, there's nothing you can do. Well, with Switchvox, what you can do is I'm on that call on my desk. I hit **2 on my desk phone. My cell phone rings, I pick it up, and I can take that call with me out the door because it's now on my cell phone. And the person I'm talking to has no idea that that happened. So you can bounce calls from one device to the other. So we have lots of really great mobility features as well, and they're all 100% included. The app is free from the respective store. There's no additional licensing for any of it. Everything is included within Switchvox. How do we access the cloud-based trial? What equipment do we need? All right, so let me show you. So if you go up here to products, if you go to digium.com first, and you hover over this products page at the top, and you select hosted Switchvox right here. This is our Switchvox Cloud page. So here are 3 options to actually demo, or you can do. Try it free. This launches our 30-day Switchvox trial. With 0 upfront costs. The only thing you would need is like a network switch to connect these phones to. That's really it, and some bandwidth and connection to the outside world to connect to them. But fill out this form. We'll contact you and talk about all of that you need. See the demo. You can actually see the demo here in action. And then demo preference, you can do a one-on-one demo with one of our account executives, which for those of you who asked for a personal demo, that's probably what it will be. And then you get access to a live demo server here. So that's where we have a demo server kind of in the cloud that you can connect to and get an account, create some extensions. If you want to connect a SIP trunk to it, you can. So there's lots of ways to demo. But if you just get come up here to the top and go to hosted, you'll see all those options for Switchvox Cloud. Is the pricing the same across all your resellers, i.e. do we need to shop around? So we provide list pricing to our partners. Our partners then have the ability to price the product, to a certain extent, however they see fit. So we provide, when you contact us, or if we get involved, we will provide you with the single best partner in that geography. So I'm sure you'll probably get the best pricing that you can from that one person. That is not to say that if you call the person down the street, they'll provide a better price. That's up to them. But we as a company will provide a single partner for you. How much bandwidth? So bandwidth is a great question. So the general rule for whether you buy an on-premise phone system or whether you buy a cloud system is that the average call takes about 80 kilobits per second to connect. So if you take 80 kilobits per second and multiply that number times the number of simultaneous calls you think your company is going to make, that'll give you a general idea of the bandwidth that you need to make your calls. You might want to provide a little bit of buffer on top of that because you're going to have, especially on cloud, because you're going to have more traffic going across out to the outside world. So if for your instant messaging and your recording and things that take a little more oomph to do, but that'll give you a general amount. So 80 kilobits per second times the number of concurrent calls that you make, not the number of users, but the number of actual calls on the system that'll be made at the same time. Okay. Somebody asked me, I email you directly. Absolutely. My email address is bferguson@digium.com. In fact, I will put that in the chat at the bottom for anybody that wants to use it. So let me go ahead and all right. Feel free to email me there, and I'll connect. I can handle a lot of things myself, but I can connect you to the right people that can get you taken care of as well. All right, but yeah, absolutely. I'll call. Okay, good. All right. Well, I definitely appreciate everybody's time today. Hopefully you learned a little bit about some inbound marketing and something that you might be interested in doing for your company. Hopefully you learned a lot about Switchvox and the cool things that it can do from a marketing perspective and kind of above and beyond that. There are tons and tons of features that we did not talk about because it was kind of focused on the marketing angle that we'd love to share with you. Go to our website. Hopefully you selected that you'd like a personal demo. We'll be happy to show you everything. But I definitely appreciate everybody's time and attention. All right. And everybody have a fantastic day and have a great weekend coming up.